Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Blue Dragon 5 here.
And Jacob Weil.
And we're back. We're talking Creature Commandos, Episode 5, The Iron Pot. That's right, folks. We are nearing the end. Very interestingly, this is a 7-episode season, so we're almost there. And in recent news, it's not going to be the end all be all. It's coming back, right?
Yep, we're getting a season 2.
Yeah, so Creature Commandos has done very well for itself.
Oh yeah.
So it's we're starting off the DCU off a good foot there. I mean, between this and Superman will be kind of the true launching point for where we're going here. And so far, so good. So far, people are a buzz. James Gunn's a Twitter, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, technically, he always is, given he's responding and fueling the fires, and he's given direct yet cryptic answers. But hey, no complaints. We're in communication with a Kevin Feige of sorts, so that's unique.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. So Jacob, you are joining us, kind of fresh into this. So what do you think?
Well, I basically binged the entire series, as of so far. I mean, as much as it is, yesterday. And I even told you when I got to this episode just by saying, best friends! You knew immediately where I was at that point.
Yeah.
So,
I knew you at least had started episode 5.
Yep. Oh yeah. And I do enjoy this series so far. It is if this is supposed to be considered the start of DCU Chapter 1, I'd say it's off to a pretty good start so far.
Well, they got the monsters and gods and monsters sorted out, so.
And if you count Superman as a god.
Yeah, that's true.
So there you go. This chapter is also supposed to include things like Swamp Thing and other things like that. So.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he definitely falls under the monsters part of the category.
Well, yeah, that'd be accurate, yeah.
He's like the god of the green, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm kind of enjoying this series so far. It has obviously James Gunn's signature, off-the-wall humor mixed with some hearty doses of gravitas here and there.
Yep, got a good heap and help and a pathos.
Yep, it's a formula that he perfected with the Guardians trilogy, and and people say it's kind of more of the same when it's more of the same, but when the same stuff is like Guardians of the Galaxy, I wouldn't call that a bad thing.
Well, I mean, still, even beyond that, I mean, going back to something like Super, I mean, movie he did there, where again, it's a kind of a dark and, well, it's I don't know, I can't even say dark and gritty. It's a very realistically kind of gritty take on like a vigilante kind of story, but he he kind of took it, and it's not. It has a lot of heart in it, but in unexpected places. Like in specifically the end. The ending is very much like kind of the James Gunn fare. He really goes for the heartfelt stuff at the very end. And Super, I think, was very much the beginnings of that. Now, mind you, I have not seen Slither, which was really his big splash, so I can't really tell you full on how that turned out. But I know a lot of Slither made its way into Peacemaker, so.
And Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, true. Yeah.
And here's because the slugs were in the Collector's collection.
Well, you're right. Literally, they were also. Yeah, fair point.
It's but obviously, I mean, that was the first film he directed. Obviously, he did a lot of work with Lloyd Kaufman, and he also wrote the 2 live-action Scooby-Doo movies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's actually where I first saw his name, and then when I watched Guardians of the Galaxy, I was like, hey, that's the guy who wrote the Scooby-Doo movies.
Oh, yeah.
Because I hadn't seen any of his work by that point.
Yeah, but very much this has been kind of a takeoff, a continuation of the Suicide Squad movie and Peacemaker, and this is kind of the next logical step in those. It's kind of almost a trilogy of sorts that we're going off of.
Well, I'm glad this is kind of standalone because I haven't actually seen the first season of Peacemaker yet.
Well, that's what's great about it too, is that again we're kind of the way he's playing fast and loose with the continuity between those, because those are all three of these projects are in very much an amorphous place between two universes, and James Gunn's just he's kind of playing it the way I want him to play it, which is he's canonizing what makes sense, and it's for example, Suicide Squad movie, that character, the character Bloodsport, he shot Superman. I mean, retroactively, well, he did shoot a Superman. Probably it was this established Superman they were going in with now versus Henry Cavill's Superman, but there's nothing saying it couldn't be both Supermen.
Yep. I think, or like, who knows? Maybe the original Suicide Squad is not. I mean, who knows?
Well, the operative point being, I've always wanted a thing where we can use. At times we can reuse the same actors if we landed and we treat the audience with the respect where they kind of fill in the blanks of, okay, we like these actors and we brought them back, so we can, we're still telling a fresh take on them. We've revitalized it. We've kind of done a different direction with it, but we're, bringing back certain actors that we liked or keeping things that worked and just kind of going along with it. We're not saying those things didn't happen. Basically, what applies to the story happened, and that's kind of what we've done so far. That's what I'm saying. So you can go into it fresh like you are now without knowing that. And anything we mentioned that happened in those movies, okay, those happened.
Almost a broad strokes measure.
Exactly, which feels like that's the approach that we need to take in building a new continuity when we still have a few things that very much James Gunn has kind of ushered in the old continuity. That was his foray, so he kind of has to carry those over. So
Yep.
Yeah.
And I must say I do like the performances of the cast, the cast themselves so far.
Oh yeah.
Of this show. Frank Grillo is Rick Flag, of course. David Harbour is Eric Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm.
And
we have an A+ cast all around.
And I noticed Charlie Adler's the voice director on this show.
He is a pro at the voice direction, so he is. If you're going to get anyone on there, I mean, a post Andrea Romano world, I would say Adler is the guy.
Like Rob Paulson's also stepped into the voice directing game too.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he was the voice director for the Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh. Okay.
I mean, I think he's probably done a couple other things by that point, but I'm not sure.
Well, if anyone's going to voice direct, you'd want it to be a veteran voice actor, so.
Yes, obviously, or Andrea Romano.
Well, I mean, Andrea Romano's the queen.
Yes. Andrea. Tangentially related.
Yep. Well, we don't make her feel good. Anywho.
Like, I still want to see that Christmas tape.
I forget the tape. I want to see Andrea Romano's reaction to the tape.
Who knows? Maybe is she the one that put it together?
I don't know.
But
I don't think she did. It sounds like she didn't. I think it was like sprung on her.
Well, either way, I'd love to see the tape either way, or love to hear the tape either way.
Yeah.
The Conroy cut.
Yep. So this episode, Rick Flag and Eric Frankenstein, they team up.
Best friends.
Which, by the way, was my favorite part of the previous episode. Seeing just that whole sequence of like they clear up the misunderstanding, they kind of became besties over tea, like
in quotation marks.
Well, it's a one-sided friendship, but
it's like, can I make you some coffee? I'll take tea.
I prefer tea.
And last episode was gut wrenching though.
Oh, of course.
But yeah. Anyway, it's like I was watching this episode and I decided that Rick Flag and Eric Frankenstein need a spin-off series together.
Yeah, I do love them to.
Sorry, it would be called My Buddy Frankenstein, and of course the buddy would be in quotation marks.
Franken Flag.
Yes, that works too. That's their couple name, Dragon.
There you go. Yeah. So Rick Flag and Eric Frankenstein. It's a wonderful pairing. Plus, great straight man comedian kind of pairing. Love the act.
And for once, Rick Flag isn't the oldest person in the room.
That's true.
Well, he technically wasn't with the bride anyway, so.
Oh yeah.
But never. So my point is moot.
Okay, regardless.
Yeah. Sorry. Go on.
Yeah. So again, I love our actors here. Honestly, two of my favorite casting choices in the whole thing because I love how David Harbour is playing Frankenstein, very much like kind of a. He's in many senses he's a petulant man child,
which is very similar to how he is kind of in the book.
Yeah. Mind you, I think he kind of had like in the book too. He had an arc. So, oh well, you mean like the actual book, right?
Yeah, and Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Right. You're right. That's accurate. I mean, also like yeah.
But basically, it's not 1-to-1, but it's more accurate.
Right. So yeah, it's a fun carryover in that regard. But yeah, I love me some Frank Grillo. I love him in everything I've seen him in. So it's the fact that we have, Grillo. I just love everything. I want to be very clear. I love everything about what we've done with Rick Flag Sr. in this show. And I love that he has like a softer touch than I think we all would have expected Rick Flag to have. And I love how how far it's gotten him and even kind of like turned Frankenstein to his side. So I'm a little worried about Rick Flag after this episode. I won't lie to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, assuming certain things don't seem to be so, I continue to to love and adore him here, and I love that he's on a mission to save the princess.
Yeah, he is confirmed to be in Superman. So
that yes, but setting wise, look. I hope that Rick Flag is still around. The Superman thing does give us hope that he might still be kicking around. I'm just saying he's too good a character to kill off. I would like to think.
Yeah, I mean,
especially after we killed his son. Plus, he's supposed to have a big role in Peacemaker, and for Peacemaker season 2. Basically, I would imagine reacting to the guy who killed his son.
Yep.
So I mean that'd be a really so he's got to be around, but then again, setting wise, we don't 100% know when these things are.
And does he know that Waller was involved in that?
I have attested that he does not, but it's a question though. They play a little vague. I still think in episode 1, the whole thing there is that's kind of the sad thing is that Waller is manipulating by leaving out that detail. She essentially couldn't have ordered his son's death.
It's like, by the way, I'm responsible for the one who killed your son.
I suspect maybe Peacemaker season 2 would get into that. That's my guess because it's probably going to be a thing where he's going to have certain feelings about Peacemaker, and then Peacemaker might reveal that detail, and that might shed some light on Waller.
Yep,
that is my prediction.
Speaking of which, it is great that they decided to carry over Viola Davis as Waller.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're carrying over certain things that do
I mean,
fit.
I mean, say what you will about the original Suicide Squad. I mean, I don't know who knows what David Ayer's original vision was, but Amanda Waller was just perfect casting for. I mean, Viola Davis was just perfect casting for her.
Well, that's the thing. Ayer's problem wasn't necessarily with one potential exception.
I mean, it was mainly studio interference.
Well, that's the thing. So, with one potential exception, the casting on Suicide Squad, nothing wrong with it, really. It was just a plotting issue and a writing thing, which, again, for all we know, could have been resolved with a better edit.
Yep.
I still think I don't know. I mean, unless the studio really chopped that movie to pieces, which it sounds like it did, but I'm just saying to get like that Enchantress plot was not good.
I mean, I'm not going to deny that.
So that's what I'm saying. I don't know if that could have been salvaged. I know it could have been improved from what it had been. I don't know if there's a version of that movie, even with the Ayer cut, that's completely excised, completely fixed up the Enchantress. I don't know. But anywho, getting back to this. So point being, these two guys, they're teamed up. It's kind of a quid pro quo sort of thing. Look, you help me again. The Frankenstein is very much shipping the princess and Rick Flag, so he wants to help, but also it said, look, you help me save the princess, I will help you smooth things over with the bride.
Yep. And to do that, they're basically checking in on this professor who's an expert on Themyscira.
Yes, yes, Dr. McPherson, who essentially is the Themysciran expert, and voiced by the wonderful Stephanie Beatrice.
Yep.
I love her, by the way, in Brooklyn. Honestly, I love her in everything I see. She's in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. She's, she's in Encanto. She's in God knows how many. She's fantastic. Also in Twisted Metal, she's really good in that too.
The series.
Yes. Oh, I'll tell you something she was really good in recently. Brand new thing people should check out. Man on the Inside. She was wonderful in that.
Huh. All right.
Yeah, like her and Ted Danson. She's tremendous in that.
All right.
Anywho, so we set her up last episode, basically confirming to Amanda, well, like, oh yeah, Circe, can't say Circe because apparently there's too many Circes in pop culture. We have to say Circe now. So Circe, she gave Amanda Waller a clairvoyant vision of the future, which basically doesn't look good for the DCU, and the princess
is the one in the center of it.
Yeah. Basically, Waller out of paranoia is like, okay, kill the princess. Kill the princess who we just spent all this effort to save from Circe.
At the cost of GI Robot.
Yep, at the cost of GI Robot.
Who I hope comes back.
Well, I don't know. He seems pretty dead. But he's a robot, though.
Yeah, he can be. We can rebuild him.
Well, yeah, we have the technology.
References.
Anyway, so I love this that I love how conspicuous Frankenstein is here.
And the thing is, speaking of the Vision, Grodd is in Gorilla Grodd's in there too.
Yes, he is, and as a lot of people are, some people have theorized like maybe Grodd's like mind controlling her and doing some stuff there. But by the same token, though, you have to wonder, why would Grodd be second fiddle if he's mind controlling her and everything? Because that way that Vision looked, it was like, why is he even still need her if he could just like mind control her? Like, why is she like doing all the kill work when he's just right there? So I don't think Grodd's necessary. I think he's there. I think they're working together. I just don't think he's like mind controlling her to do that. At least in that Vision.
Who knows?
Yeah. And again, we're questioning how manufactured the Vision may or may not be. So
exactly, like that's why that's at least Rick is just let's call him Frank. Well, Frankenstein and Rick are trying to figure out the truth.
Yeah.
And so they peek in at McPherson's lecture and her being extremely unprofessional.
Yes, she's very flirty with the attractive college co-eds.
Yep, which takes a turn later on.
Yeah, and we have a great explanation for why this is, but initially we see. So here's the thing: we saw McPherson, and there's a question of how if that McPherson was indeed the McPherson that we reveal in this episode or not. Could have been that. I think that's the twist. I think that was the real McPherson an episode back. That's what I theorize is the case. So I think that honestly, Jacob, I'm in the camp where I'm thinking that Vision was legit.
I mean, I'm not leaning either way. I mean, either way will be interesting, and if that's the case, then that means Rick Flag's gonna have to put down his little lover lady.
Well, yeah. Winslet is gonna have to put two in the back of Kate Winslet's head.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so it's really fun though. So looking in here, seeing her like getting all flirty and talking, like Themyscira, let's boil it down. Lesbians, let's talk lesbians. Which, this Rick Flag pointed out, okay, does that really seem like a professor to you?
I mean, so there are different kinds of professors out there, but
yeah, like flirting with the co-heads and just like burning. Okay, let's forget it. Themyscira, Warrior Amazon Guild. Let's just talk lesbians.
Yes, it's like maybe she just thinks they're hot.
It's possible.
Or but Rick and Eric they decide to go check out McPherson's house.
But again, I love the fact that like the college students outside can just very clearly see Frank and say, "Oh no, I lost my
contact lens."
This is what's killing me about David Harbour. He just has this great balance here of just like great comedy, but also again when he plays a little bit of it's the twisted pathos of like a guy who feels things, but again he's not processing them correctly. And then on the flip side, you just have this. He's playing the Shakespearean quality of the character, like we saw. Like, don't I deserve these things? These sounding really, he's giving a great performance there. And then he's just like stomping his feet, having a tantrum.
And not to mention the fact that he's a giant walking assembled corpse.
Yeah.
Then nobody seems to care about that.
Anyway, so
Well, I mean, then again, it's the DCU, so they've probably seen Stranger Things.
so again, it's just great. We have
And that's a pun, by the way.
Mm-hmm. It's great they have those. So we have the very conspicuous Frankenstein with the stealth and finesse of Rick Flag, which is just kind of a fun combination there. Like, yeah, he's stealth and finesse is not quite his style.
Nope. And of course, when Rick suggests the idea of going to the house, and we get a glimpse into Eric's perspective on the whole thing. I'll search the underwear drawer.
God, honestly, Rick Flags. What am I? I love that. I love too the whole thing about like you're going to be a hero to the bride will see you as a hero for helping save the princess.
And then it's like then I'll kill them. It's like, no,
you want me to kill the doctors? Like, no, they want me to kill. You want me to kill a few of the kids? No, why are you killing people? We said I was going to be a hero. Not in that way.
I love that.
Just great.
Yep.
All right, so now per all the episodes, as you've noticed, we have a flashback structure built in.
Yep, and this one is actually surprisingly Eric's.
Yeah, which I got to be honest, I did just given the 7 episodes, I didn't think he was going to make the cut, but he did.
Yep. Eric, we got Eric's backstory. The only one we haven't gotten is into like Nina's, right?
Well, Nina and Dr. Phosphorus. We have 2 episodes left, so
maybe it'll be touched upon in those.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I mean, technically, we already know Rick Flag's backstory, considering it was basically put out in the first episode.
Yeah,
and the fact that his son is dead. But yeah, like I really enjoyed seeing Eric's backstory here.
Mm-hmm.
Where he came across this old gypsy woman. The blind gypsy woman.
Of course, this is a nod to Bride of Frankenstein.
Of course.
Frankenstein, he meets the kindly blind person. I think it was wasn't it a blind man in the book?
Yes.
The blind man in the story, I mean.
Yeah. Well, blind man in the book, yeah.
Okay. Of course, every time I think of that, I'm always going to Gene Hackman playing the blind man.
And Young Frankenstein.
Young Frankenstein, yes.
Frankenstein.
Now, that would be funny if Rick Flag and Eric Frankenstein went to the movies to see Young Frankenstein.
Yeah.
There's just him like calling out, like almost doing like Mystery Science Theater, pretty much. It's like, that didn't happen at all. It's just,
Or even just watching the original Universal movies, like they treated me like I'm some kind of mute idiot. I mean, that's how he would react to it, right? Like that's not me. That's not like me at all.
And of course, then you would love all the inappropriate parts of Young Frankenstein. Just see that? Yes, that's exactly how that would go. See, now she would be such a more appreciative bride. Look at that.
Oh God.
I don't know why he's got the zippers on his neck, but I'm loving this guy. Anyway, so Frankenstein is so basically after his initial battle with the bride, he's lit on fire, classic weakness, and he's kind of drifted down the water, and the gypsy Bogdana and her dog Ivan find him. She shows him genuine kindness and compassion, and basically presents an opportunity for change for Frankenstein, which ultimately he does not take. But so the theme of the episode is Frankenstein. He needs to change, or he'll hurt all the people around him, and basically that's kind of obviously he didn't do that, but it's like the past compared to now is that Frankenstein is seeking an opportunity to change, but he's just still having a hard time grasping the concept, and we are looking back and seeing the root of that, just kind of a main example of that at play, where he wants to change and he wants to be a good person, but he just doesn't quite, he can't get out of his own way. He can't put his own needs aside, his own delusions.
It's like he feels entitled to the bride.
Yeah. I will say it's complete. I call BS on Ivan the dog being able to drag the huge hulking Frankenstein corpse like out of the water into the house. Like, come on.
But who knows? Maybe he's lighter than he looks.
Really?
I don't know. Dragon bodies lose weight when they decompose.
I get maybe he's like hollow inside. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know, Dragon. I've never brought a body back to life before.
Well, not successfully.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you saying you have?
Well, no, I'm saying, yeah, we know what happened that one Halloween.
I mean, Dragon, we swore not to talk about that.
What? So it didn't work out. So there was a golf course that had a windmill. They caught on fire. So what?
Dragon, there was blood everywhere.
It got cleaned up. It rained afterwards.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but that doesn't bring back all those people who lost their lives.
Look, they knew what they were getting in. They had pitchforks and torches. What did they think was going to happen?
I don't know. I think that maybe they wanted to go farming.
Farming? Yeah, you need a lit torch to go farming. Yeah, right. They were just farming. They had no culpability at all in the massacre that occurred. Oh yeah, sure.
Well, they do when they need a torch when it's dark.
It was noon.
It was a cloudy day.
Cloudy. There was overcast for like 30 minutes.
It's like, I don't know, Dragon. I'm not a farmer.
All right, anyway. Anyway.
So yeah, but Bogdana's a blind woman who's very nice. She's an old woman who lives with their dogs and basically nurses Eric back to health.
Yep. So, and again, also I love the start of we see the start of potential in him, where she teaches him a lesson in appreciating beauty with closing his eyes. The whole thing, like, I would not know what to do if I lost vision. I would probably kill myself. And he basically,
she's like, close your eyes and imagine your bride.
Now, with this, I like that this kind of helps him, well, I guess somewhat of a pun intended, it kind of lights the torch in his heart for the bride, and that even though, he could have given up and kind of like taken like failure and kind of accepted at the start there, but it's the fact with not being able to see his bride and her running away from is that, it drives him to find the bride in all these different time periods as we saw during that montage.
Yep.
So episode-wise, with the plotting of this episode, I do love how straightforward our plot flows. I think it flows very nicely because, we investigate the revelation we had at the end of the last episode. And of course, meanwhile,
the Commandos are on their way to Pokolistan.
Yep, and basically the two are intertwined in which, Rick Flag tips off the princess and which impacts the Commandos story. So that's very straightforward, and interspersed is the Frankenstein flashback. So very nicely plotted, I think.
Oh yeah, it's a very tightly plotted episode. Probably one of my favorites of the season so far.
Oh yeah. So
I mean, granted, there's only 5 and will ultimately be 7 to choose from.
So Flag and Frankenstein, they investigate McPherson's house. They discover
Flag and Frankenstein, crime scene investigators.
There you go.
We're coming up with all kinds of spin-offs here.
Oh yeah.
Maybe DC should hire us.
I don't think they're that desperate yet.
Yeah, I know. Who knows with how Zaslav's running things?
Well, it's more Warner Brothers, but yeah.
Well, who knows? Maybe DC will turn their fortunes around.
Yeah.
I mean, so far that seems to be like the one good idea Zaslav had was bringing Gunn in.
Yep. But wait, I don't.
Was that actually Zaslav?
Well, that's the thing. I don't think that was. I think Gunn was before Zaslav.
Well, he did the Suicide Squad before Zaslav.
That's
right?
what I mean. So I don't think that was Zaslav.
But wasn't it Zaslav who did like the whole DC Studios Kevin Feige thing?
I don't think he did. I don't think.
I
think Zaslav came in when they did the whole merger. That's what I think. I think the whole Discovery merger or whatever.
Well, either way, he hasn't done anything to mess it up so far. So, and keyword so far.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying.
I do.
But anyway, so yeah, they sneak into the house and Frankenstein sees someone walking a cat.
It disturbs him.
Yeah, it's an omen, an augury, or maybe it's a cat on a leash.
Which also again connects to the flashback in which he's much more a dog person.
Yep, he's very much a dog person.
Yeah. Dog saved his life.
Yep. And he's also kind of a shotgun person, so I wonder if that'll be his weapon if he ever joins the Commandos.
Yeah, well, again, Frankenstein with guns. He's just like this. I could just will death. This is great.
I could just murder anything with this thing.
Yeah, just point and point and shoot. It's like I just love that it's the conveniency of the gun. It's like I don't have to exert myself. This is great. This is the lazy man's murder weapon. I love it.
Like, considering what that same weapon brought out in the last episode, though.
Yeah. All right, let's see.
I'm not going to talk about it because it'll make me too sad.
Yep. All right, let's see.
I'll just say this up front. Like, very few episodes or anything makes me go do anything out loud or when I saw the episode, I was like, Jesus. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get you. Yeah, that was pretty sad.
I mean, very few things make me have that reaction.
It's the fact that the little girl looked like the princess is what really got me.
Oh.
See, the fact that here's the thing. I think it's look. I think Rohit thinks I'm reaching, but maybe I am. But I still think that little girl looked ridiculously like the princess. I like to think that was a retroactive choice, and that was a foreshadow of a thing where Weasel saved the princess as maybe a redemptive act, basically saving the little girl in a sense. That's what I like to think happened there.
I mean, I think that's a good way of looking at it. But now
I think that's really nice for him. It gives Weasel a win after the tragedy that we then learned befell him.
But now he's about to go kill her too.
Yeah, no. Again, we'll see. Maybe that's what I'm saying. I will be so vindicated if Weasel has the opportunity to kill her, but he doesn't because he sees the little girl. I'm going to be so vindicated if that happens.
I do kind of hope that happens, but depending on if the princess actually is a megalomaniacal maniac.
Yeah, which I don't think she is. I think my prediction is that the actions that Waller's taking create that situation where she doesn't have those intentions, but something that's happening in this whole plot and this whole setup to get her killed is what turns her into that. That's what I think's going to happen.
Like Waller's machinations.
Yeah.
Or any kind of someone else. Or any other kind of machinations directly lead to the princess taking those actions.
Yeah, like the paranoia in itself is what caused the princess. Again, people trying, her friends trying to kill her is what turned her south. That's what I think's gonna,
I mean, that's actually a good way of looking at it. That's actually a pretty good theory.
Yeah.
But anyway, Eric and Rick. It's weird calling Frankenstein Eric.
Yep.
So, but either way, they
But I love how Rick Flag calls him Frank, though.
Yep. And Frankenstein.
Shut up, Frank! I'm on the phone. Shut up.
And he doesn't mind. But he's like, put in a good word for me. Tell her I'm here.
One of the funniest, seriously, it's like the funniest scene is just like him trying to get across this dire warning to the princess while Frankenstein's like a kid on the phone, like, tell her I said hi,
It's like put in a good word to the princess for me.
Yep.
I was like, what are you doing? I don't know. So maybe she can tell the bride how rad I am.
That we were best friends. Okay, so they discover. Okay, anyway, so they investigate McPherson's house. They find McPherson is dead, and she has been taken over by a doppelganger.
Who starts playing Mortal Kombat?
Yeah. Bit of a nod to the DC versus Mortal Kombat.
Well, and the fact that NetherRealm is owned by Warner Brothers.
Well, yeah, I mean, literally, there's a game where they fought each other, but yeah.
I know, and they've had some crossover with obviously Raiden from Mortal Kombat appearing in Injustice and Joker being in Mortal Kombat 11.
Yes.
So there is some crossover there.
All right. Anyway, so again, we here's something that always bugged me too. Is just that Rick Flag's been trying to call the princess for 2 episodes now. Now he finally gets a hold of her. It feels a little like, come on, really? Now he's able to finally get a hold of her? Like, I don't know. Like maybe the person finally had enough of him trying to call her. I don't know. I thought we were a little inconsistent. That's like the only actual gripe I have with the episode. Really? Now I know we need it for convenience's sakes for the for the story, but it just does feel like it sounded made the Pokolistanian, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The people of Pokolistan, like I love Alexei, and I feel sad for Alexei in this episode, but
I'm casting. I'm obviously I'm going to wait to cast my judgment on this, but I hope it comes to the point where we realize that he didn't deserve that.
Well, we know he didn't deserve that.
Well, I'm just saying, unless he actually is this evil, monstrous kind of man working for this country that wants to destroy everything.
All right, you're right. Yeah, I guess we'll see how warranted it is. I would like to think it isn't. I would like to think he was just a guy. Because think about it.
What's up?
He could have very easily killed. Well, he could have easily just given the kill order on the Commandos, but he was trying to arrest them and take them in. I don't think that's an evil guy.
He's just doing what he's told.
Yeah. Anyway,
and of course, Dr. Phosphorus, I just stick his hand through his head.
Yeah. Okay.
Speaking of which, I love the move that Phosphorus does, where he does the bird through the two guys' heads.
Yep. He's flipping them off as he's going through.
Yep.
Also, we have kind of a trauma kill in this episode.
What's that?
When he steps on the guy's face, that's absolutely a trauma kill.
And then we actually see it. It cuts away. Then we actually briefly see it.
Yeah, that's the thing. We see like the weird misshapen, like the way. Basically, what we see, that's a trauma effect.
Oh, nice.
But I'm saying, I guess I can't say with autonomy that's absolute a direct pull. I'm just saying he's literally had Lloyd Kaufman in his movies, so I don't think it'd be.
He used to work for Kaufman.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's referencing his trauma days, and I would like to think the move like that and the veracity of the kills, specifically the Dr. Phosphorus kills, are a reference to trauma, specifically that stepping on the guy's face move.
Yep. Of all the things you can pull from trauma, that's probably the best things you can do.
Yeah. Anyway. So we alert the princess. I love that there's no Hammond and Hawin are no why didn't you call me? It's none of that. Just she hears Rick Flag saying, "Look, you're in danger. You got the Commandos." There's no vagaries, no reveal oh, it's the Commandos that are trying to. He tells her all the information that she needs. Frankenstein's bothering him while he's on the phone, which is making it even funnier. But just the fact that she gets all the information she needs and she's in good shape right now. I love that.
Yep.
That just shows there's a nice connection between those two crazy kids. Hopefully she won't be a power-mad dictator by Flag's doing.
I hope not.
Anyway, so that's all nice.
And of course that leads to her vowing to kill the Commandos.
You remember who plays her, don't you?
No.
Maria Bakalova.
Unfortunately, that's not ringing a bell.
Okay, here's why I bring it up. Cosmo the space dog.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Anyway.
Good dog.
Yep. So, let's see. Okay, so Appointment Rustovic's gotten the heads up, and Frankenstein's upset. You didn't even mention me, and then Flag's pointing out, well, right now she's trying to kill. Right now, the bride is trying to kill her. They're not going to really be talking right now, anyway.
And then when McPherson comes home, they engage in stealth.
It's also his lovely phrase. Has this great line, just saying, I'm starting to suspect this plan makes no sense.
He's he's talking about his plan to Rick. He's I'm suspecting my plan makes no sense to you at all. It's obviously Rick gives zero cares about Frank's plans.
Yeah. Well, no. Frankenstein's he's going with Rick Flag's plan, but he just doesn't. He's so impertinent and so impatient that he doesn't get the finesse at all. It's the grand scheme of the plan, which is, okay, look, we got to save the princess, and then once that problem is taken care of, I will then smooth things over with the bride. But he just doesn't understand any of that. It's he wants immediate results, or at least immediate. He wants a sign that things are going in his favor. He's not. He's not having any. And then the point is he's in a mood, and it's okay, look, McPherson's back, hide.
And he just hides behind a bird cage.
Just do you think you're hidden? I don't give a crap. I don't give an F. It's he just basically casually drops to the on his side, and his shoulders still show him. He's hiding behind the bed.
Yeah, that was a good shot too, but I thought this one was ultimately a bit funnier.
Yep.
I mean,
Anyway.
considering like it would just him standing before the bed wouldn't really be that funny.
Yep.
But
Also, the whole, so in the flashbacks, real quick, Frankenstein, Bogdana, they have a nice. We see the nice friendship cultivating. He's going on about the shotgun. We have this really, I love this line that Harbour delivers, saying, "I still have the shotgun, woman. Don't tempt me." Which again, it's a loving line, but again, the fact that he's saying that and threatening violence against her, and ultimately what happens again, it's kind of there's a bittersweet charm to it.
well, to be fair, he doesn't actually use the shotgun.
Yeah, that's the thing. Again, yeah,
But we'll get to that.
yeah. Well, to be fair, he doesn't use the shotgun because he doesn't want to spook the dog.
Yeah, but again, we'll get there.
Okay, so let's talk about the chaos with the Commandos. So, Phosphorus is killing people awesomely. Poor Alexei, he's just trying to do what the princess says. Like, okay, look, just arrest him. Or just like, I love it seems like the princess tried to understand the situation. Said, okay, look, the Commandos just following orders. It's not their fault. They did save your life in the first place. It seems like that she has a really good understanding of the situation, which does interestingly give me hope that the Commandos won't, at least just in what they're doing specifically, won't turn her. It sounds like if she's going to turn, it's going to be because of what Waller's doing, hence turning her ire to the States versus the Commandos.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like, at least.
Seems that way. Maybe they'll go. Maybe the Commandos will eventually go rogue like the Suicide Squad did.
Entirely possible. It's poor Alexei, he gets killed. I love that Phosphorus even feels bad about Alexei. That's a shame. I kind of like that guy.
Like, yeah, then you shouldn't have put your hand through his head then.
Well, again, he was in the way, and he was giving the orders with the guys with the gun. So kind of, I get it, but it's like, oh, poor,
It's like I
they
said,
they don't know non-lethal measures.
I just hope that it like comes to the point where we realize that, like where Foss was like, oh man, I really shouldn't have killed that guy. It's like I actually did lie. Now I feel bad. Now I feel bad. God.
Oh yeah.
I do hope it comes to that point.
All right, so let's talk about our McPherson reveal. Not only is McPherson just an imposter, she is the imposter. She is Clayface.
Yes. We don't know. We don't know which one.
No, we don't. We know she is voiced by Alan Tudyk.
Yeah.
Not a far less chattier Clayface than he is known for, but
But yeah. Who also does Phosphorus, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. So we've had Alan Tudyk play 3 characters so far. He has played Dr. Phosphorus, he's played Clayface, and he's played Dr. Will Magnus.
From Cheers for the Tin Man.
Yeah.
Or is it to the Tin Man or for the Tin Man?
2.
I can never. I always get that.
It's 2.
Okay, cheers to the Tin Man.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But so he's played 3 characters so far, and he's played Clayface before in Harley Quinn, played a very comedic version of Clayface. So this is interesting.
Yep.
Especially with the recent news about Clayface. It does make you wonder, could Tudyk make the transition to live action? But, it's not a certainty.
It's like, well, it depends on which Clayface this one is and which one they use in the movie.
It sounds like we're doing Matt Hagen in the movie.
So this one could be Basil Carlo.
True.
Or it could be there are 3 Clayfaces, right?
I mean, technically there are more, but there are 3 core Clayfaces. There's Basil Carlo is the main one, then you have Matt Hagen, and honestly, I know the design of the 3rd one. I don't think anyone really knows anything about the 3rd one. The animated series kind of combined them all to a degree. Specifically, the first 2. It's Matt Hagen. It's Matt Hagen in terms of the name, and also just kind of like the traditional kind of full body Clayface kind of look. Basil Carlo started off as like just morphing his face, and then it kind of went from there. But Basil Carlo was always an actor, and then they kind of combined him in the animated series. And the director of this new Clayface movie loves the animated series, so he seems to be kind of. I imagine he's going to just full on do that. I think he's going to go the actor route, but we'll use Matt Hagen as the name. That's what I suspect will happen, but I don't know.
And of course, the Caped Crusader used the original, just molding the face version.
That's what I'm saying. So they use like full on traditional like Basil Carlo Clayface, which I always loved in the animated series, and that's the thing. Animated series did kind of a great kind of nod to that, where they he starts off only able to mold his face, and then he gets submerged in. And so that's how they bridge the two versions of the character, which I thought was a really good, inspired idea.
All right, but back to this, we still have no
Yeah.
idea which one this technically is.
Yeah, you're right. We don't full on know. I suspect it's just whatever. I assuming this Clayface. I doubt he's dead 'cause he's Clayface. You know, he's a mound of clay. Assuming he is still around, that's probably going to be our Mike Flanagan Clayface. But I imagine the Mike Flanagan Clayface will be the beginnings of the Clayface, and this is kind of like just him, like day to day, kind of what he's at now. Kind of imposter for hire would be my guess. Now, here's a question I'm going to pose to you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we discover it's Clayface, and Clayface indeed he's killed her and he's impersonated her to mislead Amanda Waller. But you have to wonder, though, was it to mislead Amanda Waller? Because you have to wonder. This opens up a bunch of questions. Like, okay, so we have Clayface who was killed. McPherson is assuming her identity. Who, the question is like, who's doing that? Who is hiring Clayface to do this? And how true is Circe's vision? Because, Circe did show Waller something, and Circe was crying after she saw it. So it didn't seem like really evil, and I don't think Circe is. She could be serving her means to an end, but she seems really convicted that she wants to save the world from ending. By doing this, preventing like a world-ending event of some kind. So it just makes you wonder to what end is Clayface being hired if seemingly a McPherson, real or otherwise, just confirms it. So that's the thing. Like, it just seems to be confirming the truth. So there's something that we're missing here. That's the mystery of it all. There's something that we're missing. Like, why hire a fake McPherson to confirm something that very likely is real, assuming it's not real,
or unless it's just entirely a coincidence.
It's possible.
It's probably unlikely considering the story, but
yeah, that's the thing. So we're gonna see what happens. That is the interesting thing about this, though. That again, why hire Clayface to kill McPherson if we have a very real looking vision? But again, to feed what Rick Flag's saying, that there's something's not adding up here. I want Rick Flag to be right, but I don't think he is.
I hope he is too, but we'll see how it goes.
I still think, end of the day, it's like just the measures that we're taking to stop her from in kind of a preliminary capacity, in kind of a precognitive capacity, is what's going to turn her south, is what's going to cause the end of the world.
And ultimately, we have seen like through these various things, like it's usually the measures that Waller takes is what ultimately causes more problems than what originally were there in the first place.
It would indeed track.
Like, we know Waller has the best intentions, but you know what they say about the road to hell.
Oh yeah, she's definitely going there.
And I would definitely say that vision definitely looks like hell.
Yep. Okay, so we have a crucified Superman. That's pretty much the definition of that.
Yep. And you're talking about how earlier Clayface impersonating people, right?
Yep.
In this episode, he impersonates Bane.
What makes you say that?
Because he bent Rick Flag against his knee.
Oh, right, literally. Okay, sorry. I thought you meant
he broke the flag.
Yeah, he did. He dropped the flag.
Yep.
You don't drop the flag.
Oh no.
So yeah,
so he was impersonating Bane.
You're right. Temporarily, he stole a move from Bane there. Yeah.
Yep, the backbreaker.
Yeah. So we have this really nicely edited fight sequence between Clayface and the Commandos, and just seeing Clayface break Rick Flag's back and seemingly kill him. It was heartbreaking. Well, it's backbreaking and heartbreaking to me. I really hope it's not the case because, frankly, Rick Flag is my favorite character in the show, and I was really attached to him because of everything Frank Grillo is doing here, performance-wise and just characterization-wise on this guy, and just seeing it. But plus, we gave him the awesome friendship with Frankenstein. I don't want him to die now. But he seems pretty dead. There's evidence to suggest he will not die. I don't know how he shakes this off. I have to assume Frankenstein's going to get him some medical attention or something. Otherwise, he's
Who's going to get him? Yeah, Frankenstein. I thought you said Frank's son for a moment.
No, Frankenstein.
I know. I thought you said Frank's son.
I mean, my guess is that Frankenstein's going to shock the crap out of him until his heart starts again. That's a guess.
Well, that's how he defeated Clayface.
That's what I mean. So I think he just might be taking that logic. Like, I'll bring him back because I have unfinished business with him with my bride. So maybe.
It's like he doesn't even really care. He doesn't even really care that he's all bent out of shape.
Yep.
He's just more concerned. It's like about I need help with my bride.
So I love that Flag's last words to Frankenstein are kind of twofold, in which Frankenstein can take him one of two ways here. Where it's a very
tell her the truth.
Tell the bride the truth.
Yep.
So that line. So I love that it's very practical. What Flag's saying with that line is, tell her the truth about McPherson. That's what he's trying to get across, so it can basically help smooth things over. Not for Frankenstein, but just going to help save the princess and just kind of get the Commandos to know the truth and what's going on.
Yeah.
That's what he's trying to convey. But at the same time, Frankenstein is going to take that as like, tell her the truth about how you feel about her or something along those lines. Like Frankenstein's going to completely botch that.
And as if the bride doesn't already know how he feels.
Exactly. So that's just how he's taking that. But I also love that I don't know how intentional it is, but I like it's ambiguous. Rick Flag might intend it to be twofold in that he's playing to what he knows Frankenstein will absolutely take away from and listen to him with that. If he says tell the bride the truth, here, this will help you with the bride in a way of ensuring that he will deliver the message. Even if it's going to be kind of clumsily delivered, at least it'll be delivered. Like if he said, okay, look, tell the bride the truth. Instead, if he said, tell the Commandos the truth, he wouldn't have cared.
Like, tell her the truth.
Yeah.
Basically.
So meanwhile, our flashback to end things out.
Yeah, this was kind of harsh.
It was messed up.
Oh yeah.
So poor Bogdan, basically Frankenstein, he's licked his wounds, he's ready, and he's going off to seek out the bride in the montage that we saw episodes back. And he's basically avoiding the truth, which is the Bogdan is saying to him. I love that he's not upset with Bogdan for saying this. He's just like, oh, silly old blind woman. That's just like lovers' games. She loves me. Just, we'll go around, we'll pew it for a while, and we'll be fine.
And he refuses to see it as anything else than rejection.
But I think the most interesting thing in what happens is that, so he takes an iron pot and he basically mercy kills her, at least as he sees it. And I thought that was really interesting. To him, it's a twisted mercy kill of I would don't leave me alone. Oh, I would never leave you alone. And
and he locked Ivan outside.
So not to traumatize or scare away the dog, because again, Frankenstein is a very selfish character in that he feels entitled to love and affection. And in a weird sense, the dog is representative of the relationship he wants with the bride. And that again, I'm not using this term. I'm not throwing out willy-nilly. I'm saying this is specifically the design of this character and his arc and what we're exploring here. Eric Frankenstein, at least in his arc from where he begins to maybe who knows where he's going to end up, is an example of the whole toxic masculinity thing. And that's literally what it is, though, is that this guy, he wants a bride for all the wrong reasons. He wants a wife purely to, serve his needs because he feels he deserves one. He doesn't care about her feelings or anything. He just wants someone like him who will love him, who will look good, and who will love and adore and probably, do dirty things with him.
I mean, as averse as I am to that actual term that you use, but
I know. It's yeah.
I mean, I can see where that would come from. Just it's more entitlement than anything else.
I mean, it's actually plot relevant, is my point. So this literally is it's looking at the masculine ideals in a negative sense, which we've given kind of a catch-all title to, which I think people are using more often than they probably should. But again, we can't take away the term, when used properly, does apply to something good like this.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. So the point being, I think we're hitting our story notes pretty well on that, and it's the fact that he's kind of viewing the bride like a dog. Is my point here.
It's just kind of surprising that we don't actually learn the meaning of the title until the last 30 seconds of the episode.
That was a really good move. I really like that. It's very Albuquerque verse-esque with the item titles.
Like the iron pot.
Yeah, like box cutter.
Yeah. I don't know what that's referring to. I don't know what that's referring to.
Well, it's in Breaking Bad. There's an episode
Oh,
called Box Cutter.
I knew it was referring to Breaking Bad. I just don't know exactly. I knew that much. I just didn't know exactly what it was, and
All right.
and I don't want it spoiled because I haven't watched Breaking Bad.
Sure. Anyway, yeah.
So he basically killed a blind woman and stole her dog.
And again, the dog is none the wiser. The dog's like, oh, I like Frankenstein. I'm going to go along with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He killed a blind woman and stole her dog.
But again, this is the charm of the show and what James Gunn does, and in casting David Harbour, an actor who can kind of absolutely convey this, is that you should hate Frankenstein, and yet you're still fascinated by him.
Yeah, it's like you want him to get better.
And again, basically this whole show, in many senses of the word, mind you, we even have archetypes of classic horror monsters, even if they are very, kind of changed up, if you will. Like Weasel, in a sense, could be a Wolfman archetype,
Even though he's like more like the Tasmanian devil.
Well, exactly, but you see what I'm saying. Though we have Creature from the Black Lagoon with Nina. We have
Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Like and I don't even know what the analog would be for Dr. Phosphorus.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there's. God, I forget if the Mole Man was radioactive, but point being. Sorry, what was I? All right. The point being, you have like some monster archetypes for the whole monster kind of group of monsters thing, and again, it's basically James Gunn's kind of attempt at universal horror monsters and what he would do with them given the opportunity, but also folding them into kind of the world of comics and superheroes.
Yep.
So it's kind of interesting to see kind of in the day and age we're kind of reinventing universal horror monsters, whether it be in the parks or it be in the movies or Lee Wanell or what have you, and it's fun.
It is. It's not something that would have happened in the DCEU.
No.
I mean, this definitely wouldn't have happened there.
No.
It had to be dark and gritty and realistic.
Yeah.
But here, you can have a giant 4-foot tall weasel thing, two different Frankenstein monsters, a fish lady. You can have those things just walking around and nobody even cares.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. You had Frankenstein monster walking around a school campus, and the weirdest thing about him was he was looking into a classroom. I mean, other than that, nobody really cared that he was there.
Nope.
So that's kind of the beauty of them. If this is the kind of thing that happens in the DCU going forward, I'm all in for it.
Indeed.
From what I can tell so far, it seems to be in good hands with James Gunn and Peter Safran, or is it Safran? Safran?
Yeah, it's Safran.
Safran. That's what I thought. So the DCU seems to be in good hands with them involved.
All right, so we've reached the end of the episode. I want to thank the folks for watching this, I guess, in the aftermath. And that'll about do it. We got 2 episodes left and looking very forward to it. And again, we have a whole season 2 coming.
7 episodes is kind of a strange number.
Well, it's a strange show.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. All right, that'll do it. Till next time. Remember, if Frankenstein offers to cook, run away. Where's your iron?